What is up, boyos? It is Water Buffalo Man here, and we're back for more Dragon Ball Z Dokkan battle. Alright, so we got the easy A's for the Goku and the Frieza last night. So, for the Namek Saga LRs, I'm sorry, I don't know why I worded that so weirdly. We got the easy A's for the Super Saiyan Goku and the Full Power Frieza. But we're going to jump right into the Super Saiyan Goku here really quickly. He becomes a Legendary Existence or Super Saiyan's category Key 3, HP attack and defense of 180%. Super attack becomes Fierce Hand-to-Hand Battle Extreme, which greatly raises defense and then raises attack for one turn, causes Mega Colossal damage to enemy. He greatly raises his defense infinitely on his 12th key. 18 key becomes Super Kamehameha Extreme, which greatly raises attack and defense infinitely and causes Mega Colossal damage to enemy. So he infinitely stacks his defense on either of his supers, which is absolutely fantastic, especially because of the way he's built. This man is a slot 1 unit after a few turns if built properly. His passive now becomes a Super Saiyan's Final Showdown. Basic effects Key 3, attack and defense of 200%. So that's all at start of turn, plus damage reduction rate of 20% at start of turn. And at the start of each turn, he gets Key plus 1 up to 3. And after he receives an attack, he launches an additional super attack for 4 turns. This is every time it happens. So it's 4 turns from whenever he receives an attack. And for every attack received, he gets Key plus 1 up to 3. So he gets an additional 6 key there, so he's going to be guaranteed to launch these supers after a while. As the first, he also gets 20% attack and defense up to 59%. So he's going to be able to get, after 3 hits, he's getting about almost 60% more. And as the first attacker in a turn, his attack stack goes up by 59%, and he gets an additional damage reduction rate of 30%. So that's a stack on top of the other of 20, so it gives it to a 50% damage reduction rate in slot 1. As a second or third attacker in a turn, he gets attack of 100%, no defense, and launches an additional super attack, which is pretty much the same thing you'd have in slot 1, except for he just gets slightly more attack. And he launches the additional without having to be hit. He gets guard for the first 6 turns from character's entry turn, so you're going to get to see that for his first 3 turns, which allows you to really build up that defense, hopefully by that point. Has a high chance of performing a crit when there's an extreme class enemy, gets an additional attack of 59%, and when there's an enemy whose name includes Frieza, he gets a guaranteed crit. So he has a 50% chance to crit against extreme class, none against super class, and a guaranteed against Frieza. His active skill is Anchor Kamehameha, which greatly raises attack temporarily, causes ultimate damage to enemy, and can be activated when facing only one enemy, whose class is extreme, HP, and, whose class is extreme class, HP is 30% or less once only. That's worded really weirdly. It should say, and HP is 30% or less once only. That's really weird the way they worded that. Links haven't changed. Categories and stats haven't changed. But there's one thing that I'm thinking that a lot of people aren't paying attention to. Everyone's talking about how bad this EZA is. This EZA is actually really, really good, and I think it's going to be really, really good going forward. The Gohan that is coming in Part 2 is probably going to be the counterpart to this guy. Meaning, this is what they have now. This is the Super Saiyan LR Gohan we have now. Their exact links together are 7 out of 7. Attack goes up by 75%, defense goes up by 5%. So the Gohan we're probably getting in Part 2 is more than likely going to be a slot 1 unit. So this Goku can build up in slot 2 for a little bit, and then rotate to slot 1. This Gohan is more than likely going to be the guy when he first transforms, has some super buff, because that's the way units are built now, in slot 1. So then when it's done and over with, he can slide over into that spot and be protected in slot 2 when his buff really does wear off. There's got to be something along the lines of that. But how you build this man is really simple and straightforward, actually. How I built mine, at least, is I went top left, 3 additional, 6 dodge, plus the built-in 5, so that gives him 3 additional, 11 dodge top left. And on the bottom right, I went 3 critical, 9 dodge. So that gives him 3 additional, 3 crit, 20 dodge. I went with 20 dodge. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. Yeah, I went with 20 dodge because of the fact that if, let's say, for some reason you get a terrible rotation and you need to put him in slot 1, you have that damage reduction, and you have that guard, and there's that chance of dodging. I do not like to rely on dodge, but that gives him that 1 in 5 chance of getting that dodge off. That could be the super that you dodge. Because let's say he gets hit 3 times, they're all normals. His defense goes up, his attack goes up, plus he also has the damage reduction and the guard active for that first few turns. And then as he's getting his defense is going up, so the damage is doing less and less. Or you could get the dodge off on a super. That's why I kind of went with the dodge. But I was talking to someone last night, and I was changing slightly how I want to adjust my orbs. I'm going to say go critical dodge all the way across the board. I was going to say additional dodge originally because of the increased stacking on the defense. But I feel like doing 2 supers a turn, maybe go either critical dodge for 2 of them and then additional dodge for 1 of them. But critical dodge probably across the board would be better because he does not have any crit chance against super type enemies. He does against extreme class. He's got a 50% chance, so there's really no need to go super crit all the way across the board if you don't want to. But against normal type or super type enemies, he does not have that crit. But thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys back here next time for Frieza.